Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the Reven cast. That's been a long time coming, but we're finally here. We're finally ready to talk about what we're going to be talking about today. Of course, I'm Actual Dez, and I'm always joined by the lovely Panda Sniper. How are you doing today, Panda?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
Hell
Thank you
yeah.
for asking.
Of course, I always want to ask, because if you're not
Hell
doing well, it's time I find somebody to beat up.
yeah.
But
Based.
we got a good bit to talk about today. As you can tell by the footage that you're looking at on screen, we had a couple playtests, I should say, within the last month. We got to play on this new 2-lane map that you're seeing, and of course, you're looking at Sicaro. Are we at a minute yet? No, wait. My fucking boy. We are we are playing. We played Sicaro. I was so happy. Sicaro is great, but we will get to that momentarily because today we really wanted to focus on the playtest that we experienced today. Well, not today. We experienced like
12-1, I think.
I
Just
believe there
close.
that was the most recent playtest.
Yeah.
And the footage you're looking at right here, it does eventually go into another map. Is Marianas Outpost, I believe is the full name of the other
Yep.
map. That will show up momentarily throughout the episode. So this footage came from a playtest that was mostly for
Oh,
patrons. And that
yeah.
was,
It was on 11-12.
yeah, so almost a month ago. So the things you're seeing here, like in this footage, there might be some changes. Actually, there are changes to the 2-lane map from what we're seeing here to the most recent playtest. So there were some changes made. So just keep that in mind if you're looking at the footage here.
Also
Because
changes on Marianas too,
yes, there were also changes to Marianas.
which looks so good.
They look
Oh,
great. But we will definitely get to that. And let me just shift it over to you, Panda. How did you feel about this playtest? Or just
Um,
playtests?
yeah, I was gonna say we'll combine like both of them together. Just for because the first one was so long ago.
Yep.
Um, the 11-12 one was really good. I think the 2-lane map we played on the 2-lane map, I think 2 games, and did split comms for both games, which means that we had all 5 people in a voice channel for each team. That was a lot of fun. That was probably the most fun I've ever had playing Reven. It was sick. It's how Reven Blade I feel should always be played, but obviously it's not possible to do that at the moment. And then the most recent playtest, which was done on Steam, was testing a lot of just like the future infrastructure type things. So making sure that like the matchmaking works and that there's no crazy bugs with loading into games, and fixing some of the issues that we found on the 11-12 playtest. And that one ran really smoothly. Um, the there were still some bugs. The only major complaint that I have isn't like it's not a real complaint, but it's just that because we did split comms for 11-12, not doing split comms for the Steam one, because you just had some people that like weren't in the Discord because it was an open playtest on Steam. Um, could yeah, yeah, could be kind of frustrating. Just because I'm like trying to get people to push aside or to defend me or heal me, and it's like I can't just say, "Hey, Des, heal me," you know. Although actually we were doing, but uh, yeah, right. But I mean, that just comes with the territory, right? So, but otherwise, dude, it was fucking sick. I'm so excited.
Anyway, backing up. Panda heard me in Discord, but
I
apparently
did.
my mic randomly muted. Uh, the it was very cool to see uh the playtest played out on Steam because it was talked about multiple times and it was going to happen at some point and it finally happened, and it's great that I wouldn't say flawlessly. Like it's like Panda said that there were bugs, but for the most part, it worked. It functioned. It was fun, um, and then this goes for both playtests. Like it was very fun obviously I had a lot of fun just actually playing Sicaro, a character I've been waiting for a long time, and being able to have this character in the hands of the players, in my hands specifically, because I matter, no one else matters. This character was fun. I really liked playing Sicaro. The whole playtest just overall was very fun.
I think it really solidified that pretty much everything fundamental to the game is like works and is playable and is fun. It's
Mhm.
just the game needs polish,
Oh, absolutely.
which will take time, but it it felt to me at least like a capstone of okay, like iterative. When you do iterative development to make sure that mechanics work and thing fun, or feel fun. I feel like this was really just like kind of the capstone to that of like okay, every the work that we've been doing for the last 2 years to make sure that the game mode's good and everything checks out. Now we just need to make sure that everything runs smoothly, feels good on a more individual level, like the hit feedback and making sure that everything has textures, obviously, and like adding sounds and announcer voice line, like all the minor details that add up.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is so I actually had a couple like personal friends of mine try out the game during the Steam playtest. And really their general feedback was mostly polish. Um like they thought like the gameplay loop was very fun. They thought it was very cool. Like they really liked playing some of the characters. They liked what the characters did. They liked the augments. Um their real feedback came from just polish, like the textures, having better like feedback for getting hit or dealing hits. um like that was just the feedback that they told me. Whether or not they like shared it like through Steam or with the devs at all, don't really know, but that's something they kind of told me, because I was very curious of like what their feedback, like how they felt about the game,
Yeah.
considering the fact I've been following and playing this game for I started like in 2021, so like 3 years at this
Yeah,
point.
I think I joined in 2019.
Yeah,
So
so this game has been running for a while, and it is very great to see the growth that the game has uh, shown just over like this long period of time. And yeah, their feedback was mostly positive. Any like sort of I guess negative feedback that they had was mostly towards polish and everything, and that's fine. Like, I think the devs are well aware that polish needs to happen. That they do plan on adjusting certain things, adding certain things. As you can tell here at the Marianas outpost here, it looks different from what we're looking at now.
yeah.
If I can, I'll probably like pull up screenshots and stuff in post, um, if I remember. Uh, which is like the biggest hurdle of mine. um, but yeah, the like with the from this playtest, I think we saw a little bit of Kaya earlier. Um, Kaya didn't really have a whole lot of like visual flair with her abilities. In the Steam playtest, she got visual effects and stuff to her abilities, and they look really good. I actually have the VOD for the previous playtest still up on my Twitch. So if you would like to check out the gameplay and everything like that, to more of
Yeah,
an
I
up to date,
do.
yeah,
Yeah, I think I do as well. I think both of us. So if you want to see both our duoed perspectives.
yeah, absolutely. You'll get a more of a fresher look at like how the game is now. I think that playtest also has the updated version of Marianas. Um, so I mean, obviously Marianas isn't finished in that playtest, but there was a bit more added to it compared to the footage you're seeing now. Um, so yeah, there was a lot more. There was a bit more polish added from the first playtest, the patron playtest, to the Steam playtest, which is important to kind of talk about. The polish is needed, and the devs are aware of that. It's just a matter of you know acting on it, finding the time to
Yeah,
apply the
yeah.
polish and everything, because the devs are
And
listening to feedback.
yeah, and it's really hard too because like if you look at some of the earlier visuals that Mocha has made, and then you look at like Mage's visuals, right? They're so good. Like Mage's visuals are so good. And then there's got to be part of you that is like, once like you're like, oh, maybe now the Mage's visuals are really good, but now it seems like Bulwark's visuals aren't, as up to snuff. Which I mean, I don't think it's true. I'm just using him as an example.
Yeah, of course.
So it's like polish can be just like an endless rabbit hole and like really hard to not just get sucked in the loop of constant polish, 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 polish.
Yeah, it's like you said. It's just kind of it's an endless void of, well, we got to make these changes, right? You're just
Yep.
never going to be done.
Yeah. So, but everything that I know is planned, and all of the polish that was implemented from 11.12 to the 12.1 Steam playtest has been great and in the right direction. So I'm still really excited.
I do want to point out another playtest is planned. This has been confirmed in the Reven Blade Discord, which if you are not in the Reven Blade Discord, by all means, join the Discord, join the community. We'd love to have a chit chat with you. How you feel about Reven Blade, what you think could be done just by watching it. Everyone always is looking for different opinions from newer players and those from the outside looking in. But there is
actually just
Go ahead.
to add on to that is like new players in this are like the hardest people to get feedback from. So like if you are a new player and you just like even 10 minutes to just run around is so useful to see
Absolutely.
like what feels intuitive and what doesn't feel intuitive, because a lot of the people that have been playing for so long that it's like, a lot of the game just feels like second nature, and we get kind of feature blind or blind to some of the issues that newer players might find. So really, if you are a new player just interested at all, please check it out.
1000%. This new playtest is going to be this upcoming Wednesday of the time of the recording. Should be the 11th of December. So a few days from when we're recording this. And by the time this is out, I mean, it'll probably be within the next day or two. So, get excited for this playtest. I'm sure there are going to be some more changes and stuff added to this upcoming playtest. And it is going to be on Steam again. So it's going to be through Steam. And if you got access during the first Steam playtest, if I remember correctly from what Mocha has said, one of the developers for Reven Blade, is if you got access for the first playtest, you'll have access for the second one. And if you have not played in the first Steam playtest, you can go over to the Steam page and request access over on the Reven Blade Steam page. And I highly encourage, I think we both highly encourage that people should give this game a shot. This game is very fun. And I mean, there's a reason we're, here talking about it, right? Also Mocha in the Twitch chat, feedback, especially from new players, is extremely appreciated. Absolutely. Like the devs are always looking for feedback, especially from fresher players, newer players, because that kind of feedback is just as valid as veteran feedback, right? So also we're streaming this live on Twitch, twitch.tv/actualdez. Maybe drop by, drop a follow, maybe catch the podcast live. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So I mean, this is pretty much the main topic for today's episode, is just the playtests. But of course, we already touched upon it a little bit. Unless you have any other like sort of bits of feedback or anything, Panda.
I don't think so. I mean, like, yeah, I don't think so. I'm excited to actually. I don't know if I'll make this Wednesday playtest, but I'm excited to see what changes are made. I know what some of the changes are, and I am excited about them. But yeah, I know that you're dying to talk about Sicaro, so let's talk about Sicaro.
Well, 1 second. Mocha is also typing in the chat here. Can give one little tidbit that I have a free for all mode working now. Ayo, a Revencast exclusive leak. Let's go. I plan to have it playable while you're in queue. Oh, there we go. The
Yeah, so what I think is gonna happen is when you queue up, you'll go into a mode with 9 other bots, and then as people join, the bots will get replaced with real players, and it'll be a free for all on Mariana's Trench while you're waiting.
oh, that's
So it'll
actually
be
really sick.
yeah, and then if I'm not mistaken, whatever character you choose will be max level too. So you just have max level with augments and everything. And so, just a good place to run around, test abilities, builds, stuff like that in a while you're waiting for queue.
Yeah, and absolutely, like that's a really good thing because I feel like most modern games now are just, while you're in queue, I know Overwatch has done this, where while you're in queue, you can just run in like a deathmatch queue
Yep.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So having something like that, just something to do while you're waiting for a queue to pop, is very important to have, especially nowadays. So the fact that that's in the works. I had no idea that this was in the works. So hearing that, that's actually really cool. A good old Reven cast exclusive leak. Hell yeah. But yes, as we were about to allude to, I am very much excited that Sicaro is now playable. A lot of this footage is just going to be me blowing up and just dying, so you're going to see a lot of gray screen. But playing as Sicaro is very fun. I also released a Sicaro video on this YouTube channel. Please give it a like. I'll probably leave a card up top linking to it. Just kind of going over Sicaro, his abilities, and at the time augment speculation, because I do believe Sicaro doesn't have all augments yet. I believe his E is still missing an augment, at least one, I believe. But at the time, didn't really know what the augments were, so we just did a little bit of an augment speculation in that video. So give it a watch. I would greatly appreciate it. But how I really felt about playing Sicaro is very fun. Like just running around with this character, using the defensive, getting into the thick of it, popping the heavy with the full water tank. It's very fun. You also have to, with his basics lobbing, you kind of have to. It's not just a straight projectile. You kind of have to aim up and just kind of poke at him. I don't really mind the lobbing basics. I think it's fine. The problem I do have, I use the word problem a little loosely, just more of a, I guess, nitpick. With Sicaro's basics, they alternate from hand to hand, but that also like affects where the projectile is gonna be. They don't meet in the middle of like the crosshair, so it is a like kind of strange to try to aim the basic attacks. From the left hand, it's going from the left, and then the right, it's going from the right. So as you can see here, like they don't meet in the middle. It is I don't know, it feels weird to just try to land these basics. And from my understanding, there are people that have also played Sicaro that have a similar opinion, but maybe, I don't know, maybe there's just something I'm missing. I can't really speak for anyone else. Maybe there's just something I'm missing with the basic attacks. I will say in this footage, from the Patreon playtest, I was a lot more passive. I was hanging back a bit more, which is not really what you want to do with Sicaro. You really want to be like closer, like into the fight. Like Sicaro's like a sort of burst mage. Like you want to get into the thick of it, apply drench stacks and stuff with his passive basics and abilities and stuff. Apply the drench, explode the drench stacks, and just get a bunch of damage in, spread the damage. And I definitely did that, in this playtest, as you can clearly see. But there were a lot of points where I just kind of hung back and just was like, "Am I hitting them? I can't. Am I hitting them?" I'm just like in the freaking background, just shooting, just lobbing the basics, like right there, just like, "Hey, will these hit? No, okay."
From my understanding, he seems like a mid range type of character where you're really, like you're saying, trying to get the stacks and then diving in. Kind of similar to the current mage, but I would say like he's more mid range close, and the current range is like mid range long.
Yeah, so like Kaya's more
area.
of a like mid range like zoner. That's just more of Kaya's playstyle. It's like just the drop her abilities to just kind of zone people away from certain points. Also, just laying down like a bunch of AOE damage and stuff like that. So, there's Kaya, and then Sicaro, like you said, is more mid range Just want to kind of get into the fight. Spread drench stacks. It just get some damage in. Spread it. All that stuff. Splish splash. Take a bath. You know. Gamers need it. So that's like my big thing with Sicaro was the basics felt a little weird with the alternating of hands. They didn't really meet in the center, so trying to aim it felt I don't know if I'd say clunky necessarily, but perhaps I wasn't used to it.
Just like inconsistent.
Yes, I think that's a better word to use. Is inconsistent. The R&B, where you can hold it to charge it, and the longer you charge it, it does increase the size. And I believe it also affects the damage. I forget the other thing it affects, but it does. The longer you charge it, it does affect the size of the pool. You launch it, and it'll leave a puddle that will slow enemies in it. It'll also deal damage on impact. And it increases the size the longer you charge it. I believe it increases the damage the longer you charge it. I think I don't really have anything to say about this ability. I think it's fine. It's just a projectile that you kind of shoot out to try to slow somebody. To also, just to get damage out. I don't believe it applies drenched. I actually haven't been paying too close attention. Mocha's also saying in the Twitch chat here that it shoots faster and further the longer you charge it. So the projectile speed and distance does increase. So there's a bit to the R&B. I like it. I don't really have like an issue with the R&B. Other than the like what we were talking about earlier, the polish. Like there's not a lot of. I feel like there's just not really a lot of feedback. He does have the animation of like kind of charging the projectile, but there's no like animation or anything of like it growing or anything. You're just kind of holding it, and you're hoping you're holding it long enough to shoot it far and it leave a big puddle.
Do you know if that was added in the 12.1 playtest?
I don't remember seeing it.
Okay.
I believe I want it was definitely like him like kind of like charging, like leaning his arm back. That was definitely in the 12.1 playtest, but there wasn't like any like visual effect, water pulsing or something like that.
Because when I played, I definitely remember that being an issue. Whereas like you have no idea how long I'm actually holding down the R&B, but I didn't play him in the 12.1, so I wasn't sure if anything got added.
Yeah, I definitely tried to play Sicaro as often as I could, but I also wasn't the only one who wanted to play Sicaro. So there are a handful of games in the Steam playtest where I just didn't play Sicaro. I ended up playing Kaya because I was like, I want to check out the new visual effects, and I will say it adds a bit to the character when they have these nice animations and stuff, visual effects to their abilities. Because I've always liked playing Kaya. Like Kaya's always been fun to me. But that's off tangent. We're talking about the Hydra homie, the Reven blade, Michael Phelps, right? So that's just my thing with the R&B. Is I think it just needs that polish, more feedback. But we actually just saw it there. You could actually see Sicaro just kind of like lean back, like he's charging the right click.
Gotcha.
And
so it's just minor. It's not a.
Yeah, I think it was like toned up a bit because I feel like it was a lot more noticeable in the Steam playtest. But I could be crazy. Then there's his dash. After a windup, Sicaro can dash in any direction that he's looking at. Many times, as I'm sure you've seen in this footage, I'm getting jumped on. I dash forward because my brain says, hey, I'll dash where I'm moving. I will hold back, thinking I'll dash backwards. I don't. I dash further into the team, and then I look like a freaking doofus. So I've died many times just because of that. And I'm not really saying that's like a negative or anything. That's just me not realizing how the ability works. Exactly. It is a skill issue. But I also feel like it should work that way. Like I can hold a direction and go in that direction. But maybe that's just a me thing. I that's just gotten me killed multiple times where I'm like, yeah, I'll dash backwards. Oh, whoops, I dashed into the team. I guess I'm dead. Lamau. Um, Also, it's not exactly like an immediate hey, I'm out of the fight button because you do have that wind up, which is fine. Like I don't really have an issue with that. I don't exactly have an issue with this ability at all, other than hey, I wish I could just dash in the direction I was holding. Is like my thing because I think it stunts his mobility a little bit. Because being in like the thick of a fight, I'd have to like flick my mouse back to just dash out of it. I don't know. That feels a little weird to me. That's probably the only thing I would change with the mobility skill. And then let's see, what did we talk? Oh, we have the heavy with the water tank, like the barrage of water missiles. Still wish it could have been called aquatic artillery. Just saying, I liked that name, but Riptide's fine too. But I think this ability is really good, and you could. There's a lot of people saying it's like the damage on this Q is a lot, but I think like balance and stuff is just for a different discussion. I really liked using this ability because it does really lean into Sicaro being that sort of like get in there and freaking kill people, get them. Like you want to fill up the water tank because the heavy does have a passive component where you have the water tank on Sicaro's back, landing basic attacks. I'm pretty sure it's only basic attacks. Landing those will fill up the water tank, and you have to have the water tank full before you can activate the heavy. You cannot use the heavy when the tank is empty. It has to be completely full for you to use it. And then with the active, as you've seen it multiple times here, Sicaro will just kind of spin in a little circle like he's sitting on some invisible chair and just going, whee! He's just kind of spinning, shooting water missiles into the sky. And
ability is crazy. The amount of damage that it does is crazy.
It is really it's a lot of damage. But you like spin, you shoot water missiles for the duration of the ability until the water tank is emptied. It'll home in on enemies and dealing damage. You can cast your mobility, and I believe you're defensive while you're channeling this, so you're not completely defenseless with this, which I think contradicts what I said in my Sicaro video, but that's fine. I'm stupid. I get it. We get it. But I really liked the heavy ability. I mean, again, the damage and everything is another discussion, but I really like this ability because it really leans into how you want to play Sicaro.
Yeah, the only complaint that I really had with this ability, and I think Mocha, myself, and Ravage Waffle actually had a pretty good discussion about it, was just that the counterplay against it wasn't like like it feels really good as Sicaro to dash in, use the ability, and kill people, right? But when you're an enemy, it felt really bad to basically the counterplay was, oh, Sicaro's tank is full, I have to run away from him. Like there wasn't really a lot that you could do. It was either like kill him before he can use the ability or just run the opposite direction. But I think like I said, I think we had a good discussion about that, and there will be some kind of balance or change to kind of alleviate that. Because I agree, it should be a really strong ability, right? It takes a while to fill it up. It feels really good.
It really
from
feels
Sicaro's end to use, but it just needs more counterplay than okay, like run away.
Yeah, and it really has this heavy feel to it. Like it feels like a strong, heavy ability, which is important. Mocha also mentioning in the Twitch chat that CC does cancel the effect, which is good. But like, I don't really know if that is a solid answer to the, okay, well, his water tank's full. I guess I just have to run away and not engage until he presses heavy. Or like, because you're not always going to have like a bulwark or what have you to.
I mean, really, the
stun him
only
out of
hard
it.
CC is Bulwark and Warrior that have stuns.
Yeah,
no,
no, Kaizen has his stun, and then Bulwark has his leap.
Yeah, I
Uh,
guess Kraken also has a stun, but
yes, Kraken also has a stun. So there's a handful of like hard CC in the game. Um, but I think that is good that hard CC can answer it because that's just how it should be. Um, but I feel like there still just needs to be that extra bit to I don't know, not feel I don't know what's the word you would use because I didn't really hear this opinion.
oppressive.
Okay,
I would say like yeah. I mean, oppressive is probably the best word that I could think. Like it's just that sometimes it's just like, oh, Sicaro's here, his tank is full, GG. Like next team fight.
right.
Um, which I think the one solution we were talking about was just giving it a minor wind up time, so that it comes out a little bit slower. There's time to, because the other thing too is right now it comes out instant. So even if you CC him during it, he's already dealt damage, right? So we're like one of the things that I think Ravage came up with was just giving it a small wind up time so that you have, you know, a period to react, like dash away or interrupt him during the wind up time, something like that. That's just, it doesn't have to be big, just a minor change to make it feel less like, all right, his tank is full at any moment I could get one shot.
Yeah, for sure. Like I agree. The heavy needs to be tuned. That is basically
Yes, yeah.
the what we're saying here is like the heavy feels good, feels like a heavy ability, just needs to be tweaked.
Well, Mocha said it has a 0.5 second windup now, so baller. But
And
I
apparently
don't,
it also
to be
had
honest,
it, and it also had it in the Steam playtest.
yeah, yeah.
Didn't
Which
feel
to be
like it,
fair,
but
yeah, I can't remember. To be fair, I was queued with Sicaro pretty much every game, so I didn't play against a lot of
well,
Sicaro since I was queuing a few days.
he was the new boy. He was there. He was
Yeah,
cool. He's splishing and splashing, man.
I know.
He's freaking water man. He's Bobby Boucher. He's water boy. Uh, and then his other ability is I forget exactly what the name of the ability is. But he grants himself a shield that explodes after I believe a second or two. I think it's a second. And enemies around Sicaro will take damage and will be rooted and have a drench stack. They will definitely have a drench stack and will be rooted. I actually am blanking if it actually deals damage, but it definitely roots enemies around him and also applies a drench stack, which is another way to apply drench stacks. I mean, it's a core like strategy with Sicaro to apply these drench stacks, deal a whole bunch of damage, let the drench stacks explode and spread to other people with drench stacks to proc their drench stacks. It's the domino effect is basically like the strategy there. And I mean, I think this ability is good. I don't really have any complaints. It's just, yeah, I'm gonna pop this to give me a shield for this fight because I need to go in and do Sicaro things. I'm gonna give myself a shield. I'm gonna dash in. Everyone's gonna get rooted. I'm going to Riptide. Everyone's going to fucking die. That is the idea. I don't have an issue with this defensive at all. Which, I mean, that's just how I feel about Sicaro just as a whole. Is I really liked playing this character. My only issues were not entirely like balancing or mechanically like feedback. It was just more of, yeah, I just wish the basics weren't as awkward. Because again, I feel like they should just meet in the center, not just shoot straight from the hand, because that just makes aiming awkward, at least for me. And then the R&B, I feel like just needs a bit more visual feedback of how long am I charging this? Like
I
that's
just
really
wanna,
good.
yeah, I just want to say, regarding the defensive, like, I have no idea how effective it is, but playing against it felt totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
But the visuals on it are fucking sick.
Yes.
Like I love that you just cover yourself in an orb that like it very clearly looks and feels like water.
Yeah.
And then I think there's a small like burst animation when it disappears, but yeah, it looks very cool.
Yeah. There's the burst animation, like a ring, like kind of grows out.
Yeah.
And enemies that are like in that get rooted. So like there's that bit of like visual flair, feedback of the ability. I agree. Like it looks really good. Like all of his Sicaro's animations look pretty good. Um, I guess when now that I think about it, like going back, I do find the spinning of Riptide a little kind of funny, a little hokey. Like he's just kind of sitting in an invisible chair, just kind of spinning. He's like, "Yeah, bro, let's do it."
Oh, you've
Like,
never done that in an office chair? You
I
like
mean, I
the
have.
really crummy ones? Yeah, that's what he's doing.
He found them for the first time because Marianas doesn't have these, and it's like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
that? Yo, this is sick.
Yep.
It's not a big deal. Like it's perfectly fine. I just find it funny. If the animation were to change, I wouldn't mind seeing that, but I also wouldn't mind if it didn't get changed at all. That's a minor thing. I don't really care about that too much. I just find it funny and worth mentioning. But yeah, overall with Sicaro, he was so fun. I really liked playing Sicaro. I was so happy to finally play the Hydro homie himself. And I just have this part of me that just really likes playing water-based characters. Like, I like playing Sicaro. In Valorant, I'm a harbor main. Like, I just like water, I guess. Like, that's just how I just like to play. Just like, all right, man, I'm just gonna play this character because if you ever get thirsty, I got your back. Freaking just open wide. Here comes the freaking agua. So I really like Sicaro. Big ups to Medallion Slate for bringing the character into the game. I think it was a really good first showing for everyone who played in, well, whether it was the Patreon playtest or the Steam playtest. I really feel like that it was just a good showing for the character. Like he was very fun. Most of the I guess negatives were just more of a polish thing, but that's just how everyone is just with the playtests and stuff overall. It's just like, yeah, the game's cool. The gameplay loop is solid. Just a bit of polish needs to be done. And the devs are well aware of that, and are constantly making strides to address that, which is obviously very important. I don't know, what were your thoughts, Panda?
I mean, ditto to everything you said, pretty much. I
Good.
guess I am holy shit, that old.
Yeah, it was pretty
the
good.
the
It felt
root
real good.
yeah. No, I like I said, I think that most of my complaints about the game at this point just come from like polish on the current characters and then just adding more characters and maps. But even with Mariana's Trench and the two-lane map, the maps thing is fine. It's more like I guess like the only complaint with characters is that we now have two tank characters with well kind of tank characters, Kraken and Bulwark. And then but we still only have like one support-ish character with
Layla.
Layla, which I believe she's getting a rework anyway.
Yeah, so
So we'll see what direction that goes in, but
yeah,
either if she's gonna remain a healer, then adding another healer so that there's some diversity, or removing her healing so that there's another, because it just feels really really bad when the enemy team has a Layla
and you
and you
don't.
don't.
Yeah,
Um,
it does feel it does feel a little, I guess, lopsided in that regard.
yeah,
Uh,
and you never want to feel forced to play a character, right?
yeah, I mean that can feel
So,
bad. I,
but other than that, yeah, just polish, polish, polish.
yeah. I mean, I really like Layla. Obviously, like a lot of people know that I'm a Layla main. Probably gonna swap over to playing Sicaro a lot more now that he's here. So, but if I if I feel like playing Layla, I'll definitely do it because I still enjoy playing the character. I personally, this has been talked about a lot. Like mentioned briefly on the podcast, but mentioned a lot in the Reven Blade Discord. That I do like Layla's current kit to an extent. I like the gate. I like the tether. I like the shield and how that works. I do like Layla's basic attacks. My only thing with Layla is the shift can be a little awkward but at the same time, it's like I also like the juke potential it has. It's weird, but I am also not opposed to Layla just getting changed because I am very curious of what what other uh like what else she can do, like what direction she can go in. But I am a fan of her current iteration. Of course she needs a remodel because she is
Yeah,
still like in the I don't think I would say old design space, but like her model definitely is the least prettiest looking one. but
yeah.
but I mean
Yeah,
that
I do think it is the oldest model at this point,
yeah, I think at
or at
this
least
point,
one of. Yeah.
yes, I believe at this point it is one of the oldest models. And it has already been talked about that Layla will be getting a visual rework. Just not really sure when that'll be. Whether or not she gets a kit rework, not really sure. Again,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed to it happening. I'm very curious to see like what other ways of being a support that Layla can take. So I mean, I'm all for it, man. Like, and also just kind of going back onto the main topic of the maps. I feel like we didn't really discuss the maps too much, but to be fair, we did have a previous episode of the Revencast where
Yeah.
we did talk about what the maps are and everything. But you have the 2-lane map. If I remember correctly, the 2-lane map's name it's basically Ocha Iblik. It's part of the game's lore. Um, uh, Nothing really too much there. It's I guess more desert-y, island-y themed, sort of.
Yeah.
I could be entirely wrong about that, but it's basically Ocha Iblik, part of the game's lore, and same with Marianas, part of the game's lore, where basically Sicaro's home, more or less. Um, this is more of like an outpost in Marianas, and yeah, not really much else to really discuss on that front other than Marianas being more of a um what would you call
Underwater.
well yeah blub blub it's underwater but
Yeah. Yeah.
uh
Well, because I mean, this gameplay doesn't have it, but the most recent playtest, you get to see it. Like I said, it looks very, very cool.
yes
So.
and you will definitely see it if you play in the upcoming Steam playtest, wink wink.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like the Marianas is there's a neutral crystal to take control of, and then once you take control of that, you capture the tower to take out the opponent's the enemy team's home crystal, or if you're trying to keep the enemy team from taking your crystal, you can capture and go take the neutral crystal back. And it's an interesting back and forth. It's pretty similar to like the general structure of Reven Blade, just with a slight twist that you start off with a neutral crystal to take control of. So it's very fun, very interesting to play on that. And then you have the 2-lane map, which is the core gameplay of Reven Blade, but there's 2 lanes. So it's a lot more MOBA focused, which this game has always had that sort of like MOBA element to it. So having a map that kind of leans into that a bit more, I really like it. 2-lane map, really freaking fun. Like it was dope to run around and play in. I think everyone kind of shares that sentiment that the 2-lane map was very fun.
Yeah, I think it was kind of interesting from like a somewhat design space perspective because it was like we had Royal Gardens, which is you capture a tower, it's single lane, it's very linear focused, almost like a TF2 like payload or capture map, right? Like the old ones where you could go either way. Um
Yeah, it's like an ARAM
and
map.
then yeah, and then we kind of it was kind of like, okay, what if we made the map smaller and more brawly? Like what does the map look like? And then you end up with Marianas, where you have one tower in the center that controls 3 different crystals, which is fun. And then you go the other way, and it's like, okay, what if we make the map more MOBA focused and we add a second lane to like how does this influence map rotations and team comps and stuff like that?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so it's just cool to have 3 very distinctive maps for Reven Blade that are all like, yeah, like they are very different. While still retaining the core, like you capture tower, which turns crystal defenses off, which allows you to attack it and then push up. Like that gameplay loop never changes, but the maps all play very different.
Yeah, and it's great. It's fun. It's like I guess there's
Yeah,
nothing really much else to really say other than yeah, they're fun. They work. do it agree. They're very fun. Um, yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today's episode. I don't really have any final thoughts other than can't wait to play more Sicaro. Looking forward to the next playtest to play more Sicaro. I'm gonna keep playing Sicaro until I freaking die. Pano,
Yeah.
you got any final thoughts before we kind of head out of here?
No. Same as you. I'm excited to play the next playtest. I'm excited for all the polish and changes that are coming. Um,
Maybe
yeah,
you'll play Sicaro at some point.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, because I guess that's like one thing is like you never really got a chance to play Sicaro like at all. So
I also, yeah, I mean, personally, he's not my play style, so I'm not drawn to him at all.
Hmm,
Um, and I mean, I've played him in practice and stuff like that. I think I played him in one match in like against bots, but
right.
yeah, I mean, he's indifferent to me, so I never felt compelled to. Um, but I mean, yeah, if there's not a Sicaro, I might try him out.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, that's gonna do it for the Revencast today. I do want to thank everyone for tuning in for not only the stream today, but also checking out the episodes on YouTube. I greatly appreciate it. Panda, I'm sure greatly appreciates it.
I do.
Speaking of Panda, you should go check him out on his Twitch, twitch.tv/ I almost said an actual panda sniper. Twitch.tv/ a panda sniper. He plays Valorant, plays all kinds of like shooters or just whatever he generally likes playing. So
Yeah,
go,
Valorant, Reven Blade, kind of possibly doing Elden Ring, my first Elden Ring playthrough.
let's
Um,
go.
so
Yeah, so
yeah,
go check him out. And while you're on Twitch, maybe check out my Twitch, twitch.tv/ actual des. I'd love to see you live when I'm playing, whatever game I'm playing. Hopefully it's Reven Blade at some point in the future. I want to say I'll be streaming the upcoming playtest. Not entirely certain as of yet, but I'll definitely be there. I'll definitely be playing, that's for sure. Um, but yeah, don't forget to like the video, like all the Revencast episodes. Be sure to subscribe. All that annoying YouTube stuff. Like, please do all
give
of
him
that.
the algorithm.
Yeah,
Yes.
algorithm. And we'll see you for the next episode. I'll catch you guys later.
Bye.